Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Karen Spranger.
My husband's going to speak on my behalf.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't realize he was going to be able to make me.
I have a small letter here and a resolution that I'm requesting that the town do.
Sir, if you stand here, you
Oh.
need to direct it to the board.
Okay. Is it, you want to hear or there? I can do either way. They can probably hear me, I've got a loud enough voice, they can probably hear me whichever way you want.
Probably
Okay,
there, we got it.
all right. Letter states, I have seen a change in the town of Morris in the past couple of years. I've seen the rise of a group of people who seem to come mostly from outside the town and now feel they can dictate to the elected town board. A town board is an elected body that is empowered to carry out the standard business of that town. As elected representatives, they have a responsibility to lead the town on the straight path of law and common sense, even when some of the electorate appear to have lost their grasp of both law and common sense. I humbly request that the town board indicate clearly how they stand with respect to the laws of the United States of America and the state of New York, under whose constitution the town is incorporated. And in this letter, there are italics used to indicate direct quotes from the Constitution of New York State and the general codes of the state of New York. The General Municipal Code holds under Article 4, Section 51, that prosecution of officers for illegal acts, all officers, agents, commissioners, and other persons acting or who have acted for and on behalf of any county, town, village, or municipal corporation in this state, and each and every one of them, may be prosecuted and action may be maintained against them to prevent any illegal official act on the part of any such officers, agents, commissioners, or other persons. The laws of the state of New York are quite clear with respect to the powers available to a town. The Constitution of the state of New York clearly indicates this in Section 9, Article 9, Section 2, subsection C10D. And this is the direct quote. Except in the case of a transfer of functions under an alternative form of county government, a local government shall not have the power to adopt local laws which impair the powers of any other local government. Then under the environmental conservation laws of the state of New York, Article 23, Mineral Resources, Article 3, Section 23-0301, Declaration of Policy, it is hereby declared to be in the public interest to regulate the development, production, and utilization of natural resources of oil and gas in this state in such a manner as will prevent waste, to authorize and provide for the operation and development of oil and gas properties in such a manner that a greater ultimate recovery of oil and gas may be had, and that the correlative rights of all owners and the rights of all persons, including landowners and the general public, may be fully protected, and to provide in similar fashion for the underground storage of gas, the solution mining of salt, and the geothermal, stratigraphic, and brine disposal wells. That's the end of that quote. The above declaration of policy clearly defines the rights of the legislature of the state of New York has held to the state with regard to certain defined natural resources, namely oil and gas, and not to local governments. Further, in Section 23-0303, Administration of Article, and this again is a quote, it is clearly stated as state law that 2, provisions of this article shall supersede all local laws or ordinance relating to the regulation of the oil, gas, and solution mining industries, but shall not supersede local government jurisdiction over local roads or the rights of local governments under the real property tax law. Then that's the end of that quote. The rest is purely mine. Therefore, as a resident of the town of Morris, and as such wishing to maintain that town clear of unnecessary legal entanglements, I am requesting that a resolution be passed. This resolution should indicate the wish of the town board of Morris to fully follow the laws of the state of New York. As a result thereof, this board should indicate that no local resolution shall be considered that might be construed as being a potential violation of any state law or regulation. It will state that no regulation of oil or gas interests will thereafter be entertained by the board at a minimum until existing court cases are fully adjudicated. It would be useful to add a section identifying the belief of the board that the duly authorized regulators of the oil and gas industry within the state of New York Department of Environmental Conservation will provide full and adequate investigation, regulation, and policing of any such development within the town. Although that's not require. In addition, the town could add their belief that the standard legislative practice of the state of New York is the only arbiter of the board's actions with regard to this subject. Essentially, I'm asking that the board take a active, neutral stance and decide not to go pro or con on the gas drilling or exploration issues until such time as there is clear legal guidance from the state. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I got a few questions, but nothing major, if possible.
Statement? You have a statement there?
Yeah, just briefly. I don't want to question it too much, but I was just curious if Alan could kind of broach here on the, right here,
Okay.
Article 4, Section 51. Okay, officers, the officers here.
Okay.
Okay, you're saying that they will be held liable if a moratorium or home rule was entertained, brought to the board as a resolution? That's what I want to clarify.
No, I did not say.
Direct the comments to the board.
Okay, that's what I want to kind of get out in the open here, okay? If we were to choose in the future to put in a moratorium or home rule, okay? Is that holding, is this saying here that it's holding you liable as officers, okay, for prosecution? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, it's more or less putting you on the spot, okay, that we're gonna sideline home rule, okay, or we're gonna sideline moratorium, talk in the future about it, okay? And that's what I wanna clarify. Are we gonna just set it aside and not be able to address it in the future?
The board will take action as it desires. Okay.
It leaves a lot in the open here, just reading this, okay? Jumping to the second page, okay? Same thing, it's kind of stating that as a result thereof, this board should indicate that no local resolution shall be considered that might be construed as being in potential violation of any state law or regulation. It will state that no regulation of oil or gas interests will thereafter be entertained by the board at a minimum until existing court cases are fully adjudicated, okay? I understand what he's saying, okay? But it's kind of like, I'm wondering where it puts us, say, on the side of really being worried about hydrofracking, okay? And how we're gonna go ahead with this in the future, as far as addressing the board, if you do propose to put this into writing, into law. Well, I gotta address it.
No, they don't.
Next.
I have,
Or it doesn't.
I have time, are you through?
Go ahead.
Okay. As a 30-year resident of the town of Morris, as are many of the members of our group, we're asking you to please pass a resolution that the town board will investigate the merits of enacting a moratorium on the use of land within the town for natural gas drilling so that the town board can more fully explore road use laws, aquifer protection measures, wellhead protection laws, and other local laws. We further ask that the board acknowledge the receipt of Karen Gibbons' letter of January 15, 2012, and that both of our requests for the resolution and Mrs. Gibbons' letter be entered into minutes.
Anybody else?
Something I'd like to read. I wrote this up myself, just my own thoughts, and it wasn't too good anyway, so bear with me. We cannot survive without water. There are 7 billion people in this world today. How do we feed them without fuel? There is no guarantee we cannot drill for gas without having an accident that will mess up our water for a little while. We have had them in the past and we'll have them in the future. But each time we do we learn and try to do better and keep our water and environment cleaner. It will never be perfect. So if we shut down all the resources we have, we will be getting our country energy and fuel from other countries. Sooner or later, they are going to save it for their own people and not sell it to us. We will be between a rock and a hard place. No heat for cold winters, no gas to get to work, and the list goes on and on. Depending on what kind of driving conditions we drive, an electric car might go 40 miles. Most of us drive over 40 miles. To drive over 40 miles. Most of us drive over 40 miles a day unless you live right here in town or are retired. We can't all live in town or be retired. We will have to all pull together and drill for energy in our own communities to share some of the risk other people are willing to do so we can have enough fuel to go around. I believe if we're not willing to drill here, then we should not be able to buy gas or oil in the area. Turn off your heat, walk to work, or buy a horse, and carry a bag to clean up the poop from your horse.
Anybody else?
If you want a copy, I brought your copy.
Could I address the folks that are requesting a ban or moratorium? Just one.
This is a town board meeting, okay? It is not a
Okay, that's fine.
debate. There's no other questions, we'll continue on with the meeting.
Marilyn.
I have one more, Pete. I'm sorry. You looked down just as I had my hand up. I just want to say what we've said before in a number of other meetings is that this is not something that we want to tear the community apart. We all basically want the same things. We want to have a clean community. We want to have a safe community. We want to have the people in it to live well, to have a means of livelihood. We want the children to be able to grow up here and to be able to stay here if they want to stay in the community and live and work around the community. We want all that. We're coming at it from different angles. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. But if we can just try to...
Can't live in a bubble.
Can't live in a bubble. We're being affected by it. But the
I
one thing that I...
got a job to do. I gotta go to work.
The one thing I want to say about that is that whatever happens, it is going to be affecting everybody. It's going to affect everyone. Even if we think that something's going to be isolated on some hilltop, miles out of town, it's still going to affect people in this community. And we really need to keep our eye on the larger focus. And as far as the drilling on farmers' property or landowners' property goes, if for some reason that should come to pass, I hope that it is what they dreamed that it would be. At a meeting I was at the other day, someone stood up and said, if this isn't the alternative for bringing in income, bringing in business, keeping our youth in the area or our young adults, then give me something else. Give me something else to think about. And I've been thinking about that. And I just wondered how much we have really investigated other types of crops that could be grown, other types of industry that we may want to bring into the area. And it almost seems like we need a joint committee or commission or something, whatever you want to call it, to look at investigating some other possibilities for the community instead of tearing down what we already have. That's just my feeling about it. I would be very interested in, if anybody else would be wanting to investigate any other possibilities for what other things could take place in the area, that I'd be interested in looking into some things.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll continue on with the meeting. Ordering of bills. Did it come with a letter?
No, that's what we're doing, that's all. You know, turn it on, shut it off. And then that's what we do this. So I asked them to listen. This is a $200 credit from the last oil change.
Are they paying for the
They're giving us the credit. We're giving us the course rate.
the court charge? Okay.
How did they ignore two requests? One of us from
Did you look at this? No. This is something new.
You do this now, everybody forward it
It's gotta be the highway.
Okay, highway. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for your comments. this thing. But they don't get much use because we're not using much. Chains aren't getting wore down this year. Too bad. Piece of road. Never found a road. Peterson. Long seals, start sealing the first time. Go spring liner, the corner, marker, silver marker. Seal. Make the road go the other way.
I can't hear. This is
That's the motor. He came over with his, we called Monroe. And they said we either need to come get it, take it down there, or we need to transport it down to one. Find out which time it is. And I saw Gary, ordered test equipment, found the problem, we ordered the part, which we need probably in the next month. It's just solenoid, no forward gears. We ordered the part from Monroe. We came in and carried it down. You can trail where I want you to go. That's the kind of problem that she uses. About the same money as what we use now. We have to make it ourselves. They stood there at Harvard. Last fall, we had studs on it. He said 10 studs are worn out, chain shot, so you don't have to ever take them off the load. Usual set of chain is 3 times or so. Take them off the load. So, brought it upstairs by him, we try stuff. No, that's all for. The bottom one's on there, it's tank, and then the top two are on 45. One of the split frame. Yeah, I think so. William said we gotta put like 6 its own trailer. Bolts that tank right to it, right? It doesn't have to mess with it. Probably get frame on.
Good question. Who's going to cut it needs to do? Hear what they're saying. They're not there. Yes.
Speaker, right?
No, we want to make sure they don't pass the resolution if we leave.
Actually, before that. $8 or $10 a piece, $30, it goes all the way back to 07. We talked to them.
They're charging us
Then what?
now for the vouchers.
Yeah,
Back,
back to 07.
who'd you talk to up there?
Somebody asked one, McCarthy. That's the roof truss and steel roof. Those are all installed. Yeah. Put the gutters back together.
This is going, for these people?
That's your center.
So what is,
We'll work on that one.
you talked to McCarthy?
No. Seen them yesterday. They'll be going up there. We had to have that amount of wrong stuff. After items on the bill are credits. Right. That's nice to have five.
No, doesn't. Dick,
You just got one book. I talked to county, they had the drummer drop one off a couple weeks ago. You look close on that, Ethan.
Excuse me, gentlemen, no disrespect intended, but we can't hear a word you're saying. If this is a public meeting, we can't hear you.
Or we agreed we just take it to one vote. And we received that.
Yeah,
In February.
yeah. I'm not into it yet either, but these all came off of the old books, so I'm pretty close to these new ones. I just assumed you always had to buy them and you just forgot to send your bill for 5 years.
Or even if they did, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right, we're being, can't do it, so.
I should send this to the press.
Particularly tomorrow. No, we'll be up there tomorrow. That was a lead. Quarter of pop, I see.
Will somebody else speak up, please?
Which way?
Can he hear? I'm sure. Can he hear? People in the front seats, can they hear? Like they?
Well, you didn't talk to me, I don't know. You can talk to John or somebody, I'm not sure. I haven't heard of it.
So we'll just be ready?
What's his
We're all
name?
gonna move our chairs forward.
Okay, on 3.
Ready?
1,
1,
2, 3. Go for it.
Holes, ruts.
The barn so far was purchased in about 1,000.
What's that?
The barn, the clips, the snow clips,
Yeah.
we got about 1,000 maybe.
Out. 80. It was done.
Once of that.
No, about 800 bucks. They're all put back up and we put a lumination on front of it.
Is there a motion authorizing the supervisor to pay the audited bills?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. pile there, there's a request from the town of Lawrence to enter into an intermunicipal cooperation agreement dealing with cooperative efforts between the two highway departments. This is the first that we've had this. What I'm looking for is the board interested in entering into an agreement. If so, then authorize me to have the town attorney look it over and if acceptable, authorizing the supervisor to sign the agreement.
Why not?
So motion,
We don't have any other agreements with anyone.
No.
Not to anybody at this point. For shared services and stuff. Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. The personnel policy, the last meeting we spoke about it, converting the personal leave days into vacation time. As it stands now, the personal leave is granted. So somebody starts, they're granted 6 personal leaves. Vacation time is earned. So they use vacation time earned this year, next year. So basically, the first year, they get no vacation time. I'm trying to get the personal time into the vacation time. If you have any suggestions, how to get them. Because vacation time, it definitely says it's earned this year and used next.
And the personal day they get.
Personal days,
Per year.
beginning of the year, they get 6 for the year.
Maybe just do a recalculation at the beginning of each year, why don't we just go to paid time off days rather than intermix them? And at the beginning of each year, they get 6 days plus whatever they earn.
That's not gonna solve the problem. The problem is my payroll program doesn't show personal days, it shows vacation days and sick days. So the personal days, even doing it that way, you're gonna end up with keeping the records the way they're being done now. So that the people,
Well, basically all you're doing is creating, those that extra days, that's vacation days right at the beginning. And you just shift everything off.
that they're granted, they're not earned.
But that's only on the first year.
No, every year.
Every year they're earned, but I mean, we're talking about those 5 days, the personal days, 6 personal days. If they're already, that's a given. So now all you're doing is shifting it from one category to the other. It's given, and then the rest above that is earned. And that gets you everything into one category. I mean, you've got your, after 1 year, after 2 year, after 3 year.
Right.
So in all actuality, you already grant those days.
Then what do I do with a new employee the first year?
You already granted, that's within the first year, it's already, you've got that many days. After 1 year, you've got those days plus what would accumulate, what they would have earned. And after 2 years, you've got those.
I'm still, with the wording earned.
You're giving, this way, if we shift it off to vacation days, you're guaranteeing the first year already 6 days. After 1 year of service, you've got the 6 days plus, so so many days. After 2 years, you got 6 days plus so many days. So in all actuality,
So you start at 6, and then
Yeah.
you add earned, and then you add carry.
anything above that, then the earning, which will cover us the direction.
So something in the verbiage of every employee will be granted 6 vacation days at the beginning of the year,
Correct.
and then,
After 1 year of service, then you add the other days.
Earn at a rate.
Earn, yeah, then you earn additional days.
There is no difference on my end, is there? That's all I got.
as far as revenue.
Yeah, well, as far as they say whether they want a day off, doesn't matter which one we take it off them, right? It's all the same on my end.
Right, it's a matter of how it's accumulated. You know, whether it's earned or granted.
You could keep it just like it is, just state that you're keeping them together,
Then put them under one category versus two.
just adding 48 to however much vacation time there is. And then you have to get down to 40.
I'll work on the wording for that, for the next meeting. Okay. There's a, do you have something more, Jacob?
Or just that the personal days, it was personal days will not be compensated for, at the end of 2 million. That's really how much difference it is, I don't know.
Well, it states there's only so much.
Doesn't think that has like 0 year finish with this.
Okay, this transfer station report.
You do that with country first,
If you look at it from 2008 through 2011, the actual tonnage for the next domestic waste has gone down each year. This year, we're 8 tons less than last year. Which means that recycling is probably working. Any questions?
Almost 70 tons, 2006.
He did build us last September or last December. It hasn't been. Okay. For informational purposes, the Otsego County Board of Elections is changing our election district from 2 districts to 1 district. Will be effective April 1st. Regarding Marilyn's comment, included is a letter from Karen Gibbons, Lee Road. There's also a letter from the Independent Oil and Gas Association. And a letter from Jim Seward's office regarding a forum that they're conducting March 8th. Any questions? Finance Committee met prior to the meeting and reviewed the supervisors and clerk collectors' financial reports for the month of January 2012. John?
Oh, we're working on the ceiling schedule. Last year, well, we're behind. There's 2.5 years worth due this year to be on schedule, about half. We got about 26 miles. It's paved right now, and they're talking about 16 grand per mile. So we're working on that. Royce told me to. Like I said, the roof clips and are installed on the barn. Nothing's broken. Everything's working. Mild winter. So,
What'd you say, 26 miles?
about 26, yeah.
That's it.
26 in its entirety, so we got about 13 or so due this year. It's real, jumps around a lot. We do half of a road, half of another road, as they've been paved. There's a lot of time's wasted, a lot of resources wasted moving equipment around. Be nice to have it more localized when we do it. Try to do stuff that's closer to the vicinity of where we're at, kind of like our plowing route, which would be a good time to start working towards that, seems we're behind on it now. So we're working on that. I'd also like to thank the Transportation Committee for coming down and looking at the fleet and facilities. It's important that you guys know what's going on down there. Make better decisions.
That's it. Is there any old business? New business?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay?